Good morning to all. I'm Amber Allred, Henrico Federal Credit Union's and Bellwood Credit Union's Marketing and Community Development Representative. Today, we're going back to Read with Roo, our kids' financial education story time. I'm joined by our full cast as always. We have Miss Rosalina, our savings kangaroo, and Sir Elkington, our Bellwood elk. They've collaborated to pick a fun financial education story for the kids. Today, we'll be reading Money Madness by David A. Adler, illustrated by Edward Miller. Today we're going to learn all about the history of money in this book, and then we're going to have a fun little timeline lesson from the Kids Everything Money book, a wealth of fun facts, photos, and fun. It's a National Geographic book. Do you guys know what National Geographic is? National Geographic tells everybody about the world. It's a very fun company. Let's get started on our story. Money Madness. What's all this money madness? People talk about money and work for it. They seem to always want more of it. Take a look at a dollar bill. There's a nice portrait of George Washington on it, but it's just paper. If you joined us for a previous lesson, we actually learned money is not made out of paper. It's in fact a type of linen. See some previous Read with Roos to learn more about that. Why do people want money? People want money because it can be used to buy things. What do you like to buy? I would love to buy this piggy bank. I think it's cute. Now imagine a world without money. If you were hungry and there was no such thing as money, how would you buy a loaf of bread? You would have to bake your own. Without money, how would you get the ingredients for the bread? No one would give or sell you flour. You would have to grow wheat, harvest it, grind it, and sift it before you would have flour for your bread. I think I would rather just buy some bread. If there was no such thing as money and you needed new clothes, you would have to make them. Imagine if you had to knit your own sweater. Imagine if you had to raise a sheep and shear it, spin the wool to make the yarn, and then knit the sweater for yourself. There was a time before money. Long ago, people couldn't buy things. When they were hungry, they gathered berries and killed animals. When they were cold, they gathered wood for their fires. Before there was money, people gathered and hunted for what they needed. They were self-sufficient. Some people liked to hunt. They were good at it. Others were good at making clubs or clothing. Soon, people traded one thing for another. A hunter traded with a food gatherer. A club maker traded with a clothing maker. A system of trading one thing for another is called bartering. Maybe you barter. Have you ever traded a toy for another? At lunch, have you ever traded an apple for an orange? That is called bartering. However, there are times when bartering does not work. A hunter could trade an animal for berries, but how many berries? And what if the hunter does not want berries? Quite the predicament. How would a baker trade for a house? How many loaves of bread would he have to trade? And why would anybody want so much bread? Long before a person could eat all that bread, most of it would go stale. A hunter who didn't want berries might be willing to trade for them anyway, if he knew he could trade for the berries for something he did want. A homeowner might be willing to trade her house for bread if she knew she could then trade the bread again for something that she did want. In those trades, the berries and bread would be a kind of money. At one time, cows, sheep, camels, rocks, feathers, salt, dried fish hooks, animal skins, and strings of beads, made from clamshells, were all used as money. Moo moo. People valued cows, sheep, and camels. They could always trade one of those animals for something they wanted. But what if something was worth just half a cow? You would not want to cut a cow in half to buy something. What if the sheep or camel you wanted to trade was sickly? You might have trouble trading it. When animals were used as money, your money needed to be fed. Your money could die. Your money could run away. Rocks were another early form of money. Rocks come in many different sizes, but they're a bit heavy to carry around. I don't think I could carry that many rocks. Feathers were used as money too, but feathers are light and they can blow away. What we needed was something that wouldn't get sick, that wouldn't have to be fed, that wasn't too heavy or light, or came in different weights and sizes, and something that most people wanted. Hundreds of years ago, people found that metals made good money. People valued bronze and copper, which could be cut into small pieces and were just right for carrying around. To know how much each piece was worth, people just had to weigh it. The heavier the piece of metal, the more it was worth. These pieces became the very first coins. The coins were made from silver and gold. People wanted silver and gold, so they were happy to trade for silver and gold coins. But carrying around many coins is also difficult, so paper money was then invented. Look at all these cool different types of coins. The first paper money was like a printed promise, a promise that money could be taken to a bank or a credit union and traded for silver and gold coins. In the United States, people no longer use silver and gold coins as money. But paper money still has value because you can use it to buy things. You can use paper money to buy bread, furniture, and clothing. You could even use it to buy a house. You can even use paper money to buy silver and gold. Each country has its own type of money. In the United States, people use dollars. In Mexico, people use pesos. In Israel, new shekels. In Russia, rubles. In China, yuan. In Canada, dollars. In South Africa, rand. And in Brazil, reais. People of many countries in Europe also use euros. A lot of different types of money. Some are very pretty colors. The value of money in each country keeps changing. One US dollar may be worth 10 Mexican pesos one day, and a little more or a little less another day. Your dollar may be worth 7 Chinese yuan one day, and slightly more or less the next day. The value of each country's money goes up when the prices go down in that country. When that happens, the dollar buys more. The value of each country's money goes up when the prices go up in that country. When the prices go up, the same dollar buys less. Here's something called a graph. The red is a Mexican peso, the yellow is a Chinese yuan, and you can see sometimes the peso is more, sometimes the yuan is more. When prices go down, the value of a dollar goes up. For example, when a scoop of ice cream costs $1, each dollar buys 1 scoop. If the prices go down and a scoop of ice cream now just costs 50 cents, a dollar buys double. The value of a dollar in relation to ice cream went up. As prices in a country go down, not just for the ice cream, but for many, even most things, the value of its currency goes up. Checks and credit cards are money too, because they can be used to buy things. Some people even use digital money. With digital money, there is a computer record of the money in an account. When you spend the money to buy a book or to download music, the amount you spend is subtracted from your account. Even though you cannot see the digital money, it is still money because it can be used to buy many things. We no longer live in a world with just hunters and food gatherers. We live in a world with dancers, teachers, doctors, astronauts, dentists, and bakers. Without money, it's hard to imagine what a dancer would do to buy a car. Without money, it's hard to imagine what a teacher would trade to buy a sweater. It is very hard to imagine a world without money. Now, reach into your pockets. Do you have any coins? Do you have any paper money? If you do, you're probably pleased. You know, with money, you can buy the things you want. With money, you can buy the things you need. And that's the end. A very brief history of money. Very fun. In the National Geographic book, we also have a timeline. So we're going to use what we just learned and kind of put it into perspective with some dates in history. First, we have Stone Age trade. New archaeological evidence shows that stone from Africa was carried all the way to Arabia almost 165,000 years ago. Archaeologists believe that stone was traded for raw materials to make tools. So this is like we were talking about. You guys remember what bartering means? Trading for something you need. Good job. 30,000 years ago, paint pigments made from ground-up minerals were exchanged in Europe. The pigments were used in paint to make pictures. The earliest paintings were made in caves where they had been studied by archaeologists. You guys ever heard of cave paintings? That's around this time period. In 500 BC, these silver coins, known from the country as Turkey, the Greek and Roman empires used images of gods and emperors on their silver coins. In 200 BC, silk was used, much like money, and its trade across Asia and Europe helped ancient Rome and countries such as China and India develop and grow. This is all that time. Then we move on to this part of the timeline, getting a little more modern. 806 AD. Paper first became a form of currency in China. However, paper money disappeared after about 500 years and then reappeared in Europe after about the 1500s. That's quite a jump in time. In 1535, wampum, which means white or white beads, were named for the white clamshells made from strings of beads. These were mostly from Native Americans, likely trading for them well before the first record of them in 1535. Something else we learned about in the book we talked about today. The gold standard in 1821 means that currency was once based on the value of gold. As gold increases or decreases in value, the money of a country becomes similarly more or less valuable. This system was used for several nations for many years, but is no longer used today. We've made it all the way up to today. However, it's not really today. It stops in the year 2000, so this book is a little bit old. Today, money is mostly currency-based. Different countries handle their monetary systems differently, and the value for money even changes a bit day to day. Today, people rely heavily on digital transactions, like credit cards, to send money around the world. And that's the fun timeline. We hope you've learned a lot about the history of money with us today, and we hope you've had a good time joining us on Read with Roo. Miss Rosalina and Sir Elkington are always delighted to see everyone who comes by to visit us for Read with Roo. We'll see you again next month to learn more about money and financial education again. Goodbye, everyone.